First at 9 this Tuesday, the 20th of May 2025. Independent dependency. Independent groups that contested the Colombo Municipal Council elections have allied with the National People's Power in a bid to establish political control. Invisible hand. A bombshell in Parliament. The Minister of Public Security reveals that former ministers and MPs from the SJB, SLPP and UNP are linked to 10 major underworld gangs. Amendments. The government plans to amend the Inland Revenue Act, making a tax identification number mandatory for opening all types of bank accounts. The gavel strikes. Former Minister Keheliya Ramukwalla further remanded until June 3rd. Investigations into suspended IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon continues.
Cinec Campus Open Day. May masa 3 වෙනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට Cinec Campus පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to Derana First at 9. I'm Aditya Dirasinghe joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. Brought to you by the only Sri Lankan media network to rise to the pinnacle across all media platforms. Recognized as the best by every survey and beloved by the people. Now, on your top story tonight, Minister of Public Security and Parliamentary Affairs Ananda Vijaypala says that members of the SJB, the SLPP, the UNP, former ministers, deputy ministers, members of parliament and prominent political figures at the local government level have been found to be involved with 10 major underworld gangs. He said this during the parliamentary session held today. Meanwhile, during today's session, proposals were made to increase the tariffs imposed on electric vehicles from 15% to 30%.
The incumbent government has failed to curb gun violence, murders and death threats. Does the government admit that it has not implemented enough efforts to curb the spread of organised crime? Even members of parliament, including Minister Rohana Bandara, have had death threats made against them. This has evolved into a complicated issue over a long period of time. Our country was a nation run by criminals back then. We have now uncovered that there was direct political involvement in organised crime in the past. Members of the SJB, the SLPP, the UNP, former ministers, former deputy ministers, members of parliament and prominent political figures in the local government level have been uncovered to be involved with 10 major underworld gangs. We have launched an investigation in that regard. Intelligence services report that this political interference has contributed to the spread of crime. The opposition leader raised concern on threats made against politicians at the national and local government level. There were several complaints made in this regard. Recently, a senior police officer received a phone call from a man identifying himself as Upali Samarakon. This person revealed a plot to assassinate suspended IGP Deshabandhu Tennakon, hatched by the underworld Don Kanjipani Imran, now hiding abroad in Dubai. According to the informant, B. Saman Kumara alias DH Sudha, an inmate of the Bursa prison, was tasked with carrying out the assassination. We have now initiated an inquiry into this incident.
This is
my concern. I am a member of parliament. However, my name hasn't even made it to the list. So who will take action? I raised concern on the death threats made against Minister Rohana Bandara, particularly because the threats made against him were made over his efforts to secure local government election victory in his constituency. We are members of parliament. Our job is to criticize the government. We strongly criticize the government. These criticisms can be responded to in multiple ways. So I urge this house one more time. The government might not need security because nobody really knows government MPs. But people know us. We are targets.
ඉතාම ඉක්මනින් කියන්නේ මේ 92 දෙකා කියලා එක එක අංක කියලා මේ ගරු සභාවේ වෙලාව බොරුවට නොමග යවමින් වෙලාව නාස්ති කරන්න එපා. එහෙම ප්‍රීති ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෙමෙයි එතුමා මතු කරේ කියන එක ඉක්මනින් කියන්න කැමතියි.
This is an MP who stole money from the President's fund. Who is he? He is someone who ridicules MPs in Parliament. Laws must be enforced against these narcissists. It is my turn to speak now. Please listen to me while I speak.
සභානායකතුමනි කරුණාකර පොයින්ට් ඔෆ් ඕඩර් නැතෝ ඉඳගන්න. මේගොල්ලෝ හැමදාම උදේ පාර්ලිමේන්තු කාලය නාස්ති කරනවා. විරුද්ධ පක්ෂයේ മന്ത്രിවරු
Opposition MPs raised concern in parliament not to show off or to put up a media circus. There have been 79 shootings and 52 murders. Murders are being carried out across the island. Ministers are threatened.
ගරු මන්ත්‍රී පොයින්ට් එක මොකද්ද ගරු ඒක තමයි රටේ සිද්ධි. මම
I was ousted from this house because I asked for 20 more seconds. How much time has been wasted now?
වසර 5කට ආසන්න කාලයක්
For nearly 5 years, vehicle imports were banned. The government closely monitored the relevant concerns and conditions and opened up the country to receive imports of vehicles responsibly. The government prudently took steps to revise taxes applicable for vehicles with internal combustion engines and electric vehicles.
අවශ්‍ය වැඩපිළිවෙල ක්‍රියාත්මක කරේ.
මට කලින් කතා කරපු නියෝජ්‍ය මුදල් මන්ත්‍රීවරයා
The Deputy Minister of Finance who spoke before me revealed many details. What I observed through those facts is that in the past, the tariff applicable for electric vehicles stood at 15%. This government intends to hike it up to 30% according to the minister. What the government must do is reduce this tariff as much as possible. They must be allowed to set up solar panels. They must be given the opportunity to charge their vehicles at their homes itself. Electric vehicles that have the capacity to run up to 100 kilometers are very efficient. Electric three-wheelers are superb. The government should have increased the tariff on vehicles running on diesel and petrol. The government keeps on making contradictory remarks. While emotionally riling up the oppressed classes of society, they trample the very same people of those classes through their decisions.
නැගිටපල්ලා පයින් යන්න ලෑස්ති වෙලා කියලා මං හිතන්නේ ඒක වෙන්න ඇති කියන්නේ නැති වාඩි වෙලා යන ගමන්.
චන්දරුසුමේ කාගෙත් මනාපේ සිංහ TV සඳහා සුපිරි deal.
Now, the Cabinet of Ministers has decided to initiate necessary amendments to the Inland Revenue Act to make it mandatory to furnish the tax identification number when opening up all types of bank accounts. Meanwhile, in another key decision, the Cabinet also approved a school-based road safety awareness program named Take Care, Let's Ensure Road Safety, aimed at reducing traffic accidents. With that, here's more key decisions made during this week's Cabinet meeting.
The Cabinet of Ministers has approved the proposal to initiate necessary amendments to the Inland Revenue Act No. 24 of 2017 in order to make it mandatory to furnish the tax identification number when opening all types of bank accounts. This decision is followed by the increase of the withholding tax rate on interest income to 10%, which unintentionally affected individuals earning less than 1.8 million rupees annually, which is below the tax-free threshold. As a solution to the issue, it has been proposed to introduce a methodology to present a self-declaration by the individuals with a lower income than the tax-free margin. The Cabinet of Ministers has approved awarding a consultancy contract to MS Green Tech Consultations Private Limited to support infrastructure upgrades at the Department of Meteorology's head office and regional centres. This decision follows a competitive bidding process and a recommendation by the Cabinet-appointed Consultancy Procurement Committee. This consultancy is part of Sri Lanka's multi-phase climate resilience program 2021-2030, supported by a $92 million loan from the World Bank and the International Bank for Reconstruction and Development. Meanwhile, the Cabinet has approved a school-based road safety awareness program titled Take Care, Let's Ensure Road Safety, aimed at reducing traffic accidents. This will roll out the project in 100 education zones, engaging 50,000 students, 500 from each zone, through school traffic monitoring teams and prefect groups. The project aims to raise awareness at the school level, making roads safer for everyone while ensuring a reduction in traffic accidents, which are on the rise. The Cabinet has approved signing of a Memorandum of Understanding between Sri Lanka's Bandar Naik International Diplomatic Training Institute and Brazil's Rio Branco Institute under the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The MOU, which aims to enhance diplomatic training, facilitate the exchange of knowledge and research, and promote collaboration in areas of shared interest, was initially approved in September 2024 but has not been signed yet.
Cinec Campus Open Day මේ මාස 3 වෙනි දින උදෑසන 9 සිට Cinec Campus පරිශ්‍රයේදී.
As many major political parties continue discussions to establish power at local government institutions where the opposition collectively possesses more councillors than the ruling party, several independent groups who secured victory in the Colombo Municipal Council joined forces with the National People's Power yesterday. The decision was made at a meeting held between the councillors and President Anura Dissanayake at the National People's Power's headquarters in Palavatta.
A discussion was held last evening at the National People's Power headquarters in Palavatta between President Anuruddha Dissanayake and candidates of independent groups who were elected for the Colombo Municipal Council at the recent local government polls. After several hours of discussions, the councillors elected from independent groups decided to join forces with the NPP for the consolidation of power at the Colombo Municipal Council.
We promised the people that we would initiate several programs if we are elected to office. We informed the President of those promises. We stated that we will join forces if these programs are initiated. We have not made any financial deals with the NPP. We are working together with the NPP government for the purpose of serving the public.
Now let's take a look at more thoughts shared in the political arena today.
The president during the election stated that independent groups are frauds. Now the president is calling all independent groups elected for the Colombo Municipal Council to get their support. What is this? Not just that, the president has used entrepreneurs around him to influence councillors of the Colombo Municipal Council. They have even gone to the extent of meeting with the members of our party.
Everyone
knows that corrupt politicians change parties for financial compensation. We don't have such an agenda. We see that opposition parties have panicked. When action is taken against corruption, those involved in such action have no choice but to form a team together. That alliance is not something that will be of service to local government institutions.
The
result of electing and giving power to an incompetent government is now evident to all of us. There is no salt, rice or coconut. With such an incompetent government in power, we have no intention of losing power in the grassroots.
Colombo Chief Magistrates Court approved a request by the Bribery Commission to caption Ramit Rambukwella, the son of former Minister Kehelia Rambukwella, as a suspect in the ongoing corruption case. Meanwhile, Kehelia Rambukwella was ordered to be held in remand custody until the 3rd of June this year.
On the 7th of May, former Minister Kehelia Rambukwella was apprehended by the Commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption over allegations that Rambukwella appointed friends and relatives for positions in his personal staff. The appointees were allegedly paid salaries and allowances from the ministry's fund during his tenure as the Minister of Media, Health and Environment. After being produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Courts, Rambukwella was ordered to be remanded until today. Accordingly, the relevant case was taken up for hearing today. Making submissions in court, officials of the Bribery Commission requested the court's permission to include the name of former Minister Kehelia Rambukwella's son, Ramit Rambukwella, as a suspect in the pertaining case. Although Ramit Rambukwella had been notified to appear before the Bribery Commission to record a statement, the officer stated that he has not yet appeared and given a statement. Subsequently, President's counsel Kalinga Indathissa, who appeared on behalf of the suspect, submitted a bail application for his client. Opposing the bail application submitted, Bribery Commission officials requested that the suspect not be released on bail at this time, as they need to record statements from about 20 more individuals in connection with the investigations. After considering the facts, Colombo Chief Magistrate Tanuja Lakmali refused to grant bail to suspect Rambukwella, stating that a reasonable time should be given for the investigation. The magistrate also allowed Kehelia Rambukwella's son Ramit Rambukwella to be captioned as a suspect in the case and ordered him to appear before the commission to investigate allegations of bribery or corruption tomorrow. Subsequently, the former minister was ordered to be held in remand custody until the 3rd of June.
Former President Mahindra Rajapaka says the government led by him waged war to liberate the country and establish lasting peace. He made these remarks while speaking to media after attending an event to commemorate our war heroes today. Meanwhile, national organizer of the SLPP, Nama Rajapaksa, added that our war veterans must not be implicated just because former President Mahindra Rajapaksa led that effort.
A special ceremony organised by the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna to commemorate the country's victory over LTTE terror and to pay tribute to the fallen war heroes was held today at the National War Heroes Cenotaph in Battaramulla. The event saw the attendance of leader of the SLPP, former President Mahindra Rajapaksa, former President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, SLPP MP Namal Rajapaksa and several others. Floral tributes were paid to the war memorial after several disabled war heroes were ceremonially escorted before the war memorial. After much hardship, the president somehow managed to attend the war heroes commemoration. However, at the commemoration, he referred to our war heroes as if they were common soldiers. I fail to see how our triumph over 3 decades of LTTE terror is the same as a natural disaster. The world's deadliest terror organization spread terror in Sri Lanka. Former President Mahindra Rajapaka's government completely wiped off that terrorist organization. Our war veterans must not be cursed just because Mahindra Rajapaka led that effort. If you peruse the Batlanda Commission report, you might see that after the LTTE, the JVP was the organization that killed most of our servicemen. Considering the lies disseminated by the government, that assertion was not that big of a lie. If the president cannot participate, why can't he just say so? He could simply say that his stance is to not join the commemoration. What is he trying to hide? Mistakes are made when one plays their cards too close to their chest.
ඉදිරි වර්ෂවලදී මේ සැමරුම කොයි වගේ වෙයිද?
ඒව ඉතින් කියන්න බෑ ඉදිරියට කරයිද නැද්ද කියලා. ඒ එන ආණ්ඩුවේ ක්‍රමයක තියෙනවා.
එතුමා කියනවා යුද්ධය කියන්නේ විනාශයක් ඛේදවාචක.
ඔව් ඒක
නෙමෙයි කියලා තමයි ඔහු කියන්නේ.
ඛේදවාචකයක් යුද්ධය කියන්නේ. ඒක ඒ වුණාට ඉතින් අපේ හමුදා ජයග්‍රහණය කරා.
සර් රටේ ජාතික ආරක්ෂාව සම්බන්ධව ඔබතුමාගේ මතය කොහොමද?
ඒක ඉතින් ප්‍රශ්නයක් නෑ නේ.
සර් ජනතාවට දෙන්න තියෙන පණිවිඩය මොකද්ද?
ආරක්ෂා කරන රට ලබාගත් ජයග්‍රහණය.
ඒක සර් හිතනද මේක දැන් ගිලිහිමින් පවතිනවා කියලා?
Leader of the Pivithuru Helaurume Uday Gammampila claims that President attempted to avoid participating in the War Heroes commemoration ceremony due to concerns that organizations affiliated with the LTTE might oppose him. However, this attempt reportedly failed due to the overwhelming pressure from patriotic citizens. Meanwhile, the chairman of the National Freedom Front, Vimal Viransa, referenced President Anura Dissanayaka's speech delivered on the War Heroes Commemoration Day and questioned the origins of the unrest reportedly emerging in both the northern and southern regions of the country. The president tried to avoid participating in the War Hero commemoration ceremony, fearing that organizations affiliated to the LTTE will turn against him. Due to the enormous pressure from patriotic citizens, he had to attend the ceremony unwillingly. The president was vigilant to not use the phrase war heroes. He addressed them as soldiers. Although every war hero is a soldier, not every soldier is a war hero. For a soldier to be a war hero, they must have fought in the war. We remind the president that the speech he made at the ceremony should have been done in front of the leaders of the Canadian Tamil Congress and the Global Tamil Forum. The president did not intend to attend the commemoration, but he had to attend the commemoration unwillingly because of the pressure exerted on him by the people. What did he say in his speech? He avoided a lot of words when he made that speech. The use of the phrase war heroes was avoided. He referred to them as the soldiers and officers who sacrificed their lives. That was terrible. It would have been better if he didn't attend it. He is scared of disappointing the Tamil diaspora. He delivered this speech with that consciously in his mind. The other word forbidden in his speech was the word terrorist. So with whom did our war heroes fight the war for 30 years? Did they wage the war against liberals? We don't fight for the sake of war. We fight for peace. So according to him, even the LTTE terrorists fought for peace, attacked the temple of the sacred tooth relic for peace, and massacred devotees at the Sri Bodhi for peace. Those were some very interesting things done for the sake of peace. Additionally, he says that even though it is not the suitable time to mention this, riots have begun again in the north and the south for power and racism. I would like to ask him, where in the south are these riots occurring? Have the intelligence services reported this to him? As far as we know, there is no such intention or action in the south of the country. Meanwhile, Foreign Affairs Minister Vijitha Herath says he strongly rejects the allegations made by various groups that the armed forces committed a Tamil genocide. Speaking to Derana's Kalindu Kalranratna yesterday, the minister stated that the government is continuously taking action against these allegations.
A group of Tamils of Sri Lankan origin living in Canada recently unveiled a monument in the park in the city of Brampton with the support of the Canadian Tamil National Council and other Tamil organizations based in Canada. The structure prominently features a map of Tamil Elam, a symbol historically linked to the LTTE. Meanwhile, public attention has been drawn to an LTTE commemoration held in front of the British Parliament in London on May 18th, on the 16th anniversary of the defeat of the terrorist organisation LTTE.
Drives on virtue and determination.
Joining the Derana 360 program yesterday, Minister for Foreign Affairs Vijitha Herath stated that he strongly rejects the allegations made by foreign nations claiming that a Tamil genocide took place in Sri Lanka.
කැනේඩියානු අග්‍රාමාත්‍ය මාක් කානි දෙමළ ජනසංහාර අනුස්මරණ දිනය විදිහට තමයි අද දිනය හඳුන්වමින් නිවේදනයක් නිකුත් කරන්නේ.
අපේ රටේ ජනසංහාරයක් වුණා කියලා කිසිසේත්ම අපි පිළිගන්නේ නැහැ.
We completely reject the allegations that a genocide took place. If that had truly happened, our armed forces would have deliberately targeted and killed members of the Tamil community. That has never happened. Throughout the war, utmost care was taken to safeguard civilians. Even during the final operations in Nandigadal, it was our forces who rescued civilians, many of whom were carrying children in their arms. In that context, this monument in Brampton, Canada, has been erected with the knowledge and support of its provincial authorities. Even before me, the former Minister of Foreign Affairs, Ali Sabri, objected to similar actions. Despite this, local authorities in Canada went ahead using their provincial political powers. However, as a government, we will continue to intervene in this matter and firmly maintain our stance.
ශ්‍රී ලංකාව තුලත් සමහර වෙලාවට දෙමළ ජනතාව ඝාතන අනුස්මරණය කියන පුවරුව එල්ලාගෙන අදටත් අනුස්මරණ සිදු වෙනවා. දැන් ඊයේ මුල්ලිවයිකාල් පැවති සැමරුමටත් එවැනි පුවරු එක් කරගෙන තිබුණා. කාට හරි නීතිය ක්‍රියාත්මක වෙලා තියෙනවා.
The inquiry committee appointed to probe and report its findings on acts of gross abuse of power committed by suspended Inspector General of Police Deshabandhu Tennakun dismissed the preliminary objections raised on his behalf, raised on behalf of the respondent IGP. The committee, chaired by Supreme Court Justice P.P. Surasena, convened the committee in Parliament yesterday, where suspected IGP Deshabandhu Tennakun appeared for the first time. The charge sheet, which includes 23 charges, was handed over to the suspended IGP Deshabandhu Tennakun during the hearing. Attorney at Law R.S. Veeravikrama, appearing for the respondent IGP, submitted 3 preliminary objections and 2 requests thereafter. Additional Solicitor General Dilip Piris and Deputy Solicitor General Rajitha Perera, who represented the Attorney General's Department in the proceedings, expressed their objections in this regard. Following considerations of facts presented, the inquiry committee dismissed all preliminary objections submitted on behalf of the respondent IGP and decided to proceed with the investigation. The committee is scheduled to convene for the next hearing at 2 p.m. on the 28th of May. Now, New Zealand's Deputy Prime Minister and Foreign Minister Winston Peters is slated to pay a visit to Sri Lanka, Nepal and India and Australia later this week. New Zealand's Foreign Minister Peters is travelling first to Adelaide, Australia to undertake in biannual Australia-New Zealand Foreign Ministers consultations with his Australian counterpart Penny Wong. He will then travel to South Asia, where he is expected to take part in programs in Sri Lanka, Nepal and India. New Zealand's Foreign Minister Winston Peters' visit marks the first visit by a New Zealand Foreign Minister to Sri Lanka since 2013. In Colombo, Foreign Minister Peters is scheduled to meet President Anura Dissanayake, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya and Foreign Affairs Minister Vijitha Herath. Commenting on the visit, Foreign Minister Peters noted that his visit will provide political momentum and leadership towards bolstering the Sri Lanka-New Zealand bilateral relationship. President Anura Dissanayake has instructed relevant authorities to appoint a special committee led by the Presidential Secretariat to investigate alleged corruption and irregularities at Sri Lankan Airlines. The directive was issued during an extensive discussion held at the Presidential Secretariat this afternoon with the airline's Directors Board and representatives from all affiliated trade unions. In a statement, the President's media division stated that the meeting focused on charting sustainable future for the national carrier under continued government ownership. During the meeting, the President emphasized the need for collective responsibility in rebuilding the loss-making airline, highlighting that no further operational funds would be provided by the General Treasury. Instead, he stressed the importance of managing financial flows efficiently and improving institutional performance. He further stated that the government is prepared to make all necessary sacrifices to steer the country out of its economic crisis and called on the airline staff to play their part in transforming Sri Lankan Airlines into a profitable entity. Welcome back. Now in your business news, the Colombo Stock Exchange closed on a negative note today as a result of price losses in counters such as banking and diversified financials. The benchmark all-share price index closed at 0.37% lower at 16,336.25, while the more liquid S&P Sri Lanka 20 lost 0.49% to close at 4,811.19. Market turnover was 1.5 billion rupees. The banking sector emerged as the top contributor to turnover, followed by the capital goods sector. Foreign participation in market activity remained at subdued levels, with foreigners closing as net buyers, offloading shares worth 189 million rupees. Now here's a look at today's exchange rates. Now, yesterday, Moody's downgraded the long-term ratings of top American lenders such as JP Morgan Chase, Bank of America and Wells Fargo after pushing the US out of the top AAA rating club over its burgeoning $36 trillion debt. It also downgraded the long-term deposit ratings of Bank of America, JP Morgan Chase and Wells Fargo from AA2 to AA2 from AA1. Moody's also cut the long-term counterparty risk ratings of certain rated subsidiaries and branches of Bank of New York and State Street Corporation to AA2 from AA1. Moody's stated that US ratings downgrade indicate the country has less ability to support the highly rated obligations of these banks. That's all the news we have for you tonight. Thank you. Have a great night.